place at the right time. That's all I can tell you. And Ulosophy would take care and handle the spiritual side. We go ahead and handle the mindset side. The concept, we drill into you the concepts that the high elite did not want you to know, and they are born with it. That is why bloodlines have happened throughout history. And then comes the financial side, which is Hex.com, Post-Chain, PLSX, Richard y Hex projects. These things are going to change the world. You know, I was told long ago that whatever has more controversy, usually that's the thing that they don't want you to do. Hex.com. And then we have the gathering side. We ask you to get together as a group. We ask you to be as a community. We ask you about membership. You do not have to be alone. Hey guys, once again, Ruben with Ulosophy. I want to go ahead and thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching all my past videos. If you have, please remember to always like, subscribe. This is great information. This is information that are taught to people who are members of Ulosophy in a much different way. By the way, being a member is something sacred. We don't just go ahead and, tell them to go ahead and watch the information, but all this information is taught to them. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and talk more about basically nutrition, because that's one part of Ulosophy that we talk about. Is nutrition. That's part of the, if you want to say, the spiritual mixing with the mindset. We are human beings. We are beings made of meat, and we have organs and so forth. And for all of that to work, including your brain, you need, good nutrition. Throughout history, the reason people, the majority reason for the deaths throughout humanity has been malnutrition. People either ate the wrong stuff, or people just didn't have enough to eat and they starved to death. That has been, for the majority of time humans have been on this earth, that has been their luck. And I hope you understand that. For the majority of time. So that means that it hasn't been long. It hasn't been long, since we have been able to have such an abundance of nutrition that is really not nutrition. Because we could go and say because, but I really don't think that really matters. I really just think that we need to be educated on nutrition. We need to know what we need to go ahead and have in our systems, because no matter what you do, I don't care what you do, you're not gonna go ahead and get the majority of people to go ahead and start eating completely healthy, right? People hate diets. People hate things like, having to go ahead and, not eat, especially what they want. Some people believe life is too short to even think about a diet. But, people who, the whole thing is people want to go ahead and look good. People want to go, and I have nothing against that. I just believe that proper nutrition should be knowledgeable, should be something that we should be knowledged on, and should have the knowledge for, us to go ahead and live a very happy life. I've made it an example on my TikTok. I gave you an example. I said, whenever, and I made it on my last video as well. I gave you an example. Very weird behaviors occur when animals, or horses in this specific case, are mineral depleted. They need minerals. Remember, our body can create vitamins, our body can create a lot of things, even oxygen. But our body cannot, I repeat, cannot make minerals. Minerals is something that we have to go ahead and eat. If the world would just have no minerals no more, that's it. That's the end of humans. Because you won't be able to go ahead and digest. No matter how much you eat, you won't be able to digest your food and so forth. And we will die a slow, gruesome death. Trust me. So whenever it comes to nutrition, most people, what's the first thing that comes to your head? Exercise, water, probably vegetables, salads. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. But that's not what it is. The reason vegetables may come to your mind is because that is the way we do for the majority of time have gotten our nutrition. But you can add animal protein there. Now there's a lot of people that don't believe in animal protein anymore. That's completely fine. I don't, and I don't teach that, right? So if I'm teaching, I'm teaching. I'm the teacher. I'm not going to go ahead and teach you something I'm not for, right? You could get that from someone else. But for me and those who I teach, I teach them what I believe, what I strongly believe. And I believe that the human does need animal protein. Definitely. We were just, we throughout our evolution, if you want to say, we have come to be evolved to be Homo sapiens, and be people who should consume animal protein, even in different procedures. Several years, about 10 years ago, this certain diet became famous, and it was called the HCG diet, the HCG protocol. And this was actually a diet or a protocol that was discovered back I think it was in the 50s or 40s. I think his name was Dr. Simeon. And there's plenty of YouTube videos out there of people who have done the HCG diet and have gotten great results. This is information, those type of diets that really, you really, really do lose weight, and you really, really do have results, because people show it. People don't know about them, but they're there. They just don't know about them. Ulosophy kind of points you in that direction, right? With all these things, because it's not just me, but another person will go ahead. We gather as a mastermind, and everybody has certain point directions that another don't have. There's another individual that has a pointer that I don't have that can really benefit me. That's how we are at Ulosophy as members. But I was talking about the HCG diet. So in that, for example, in that specific, if you don't know what that is basically HCG is a certain thing that is created in the female human body whenever she's pregnant, she has a kid, and she doesn't have enough to eat. So what will happen is that the brain will go to to have the kids survive, to have the baby survived, the the, the brain sends a signal to, I forgot if it's the liver or whatever organ, but I think it's the liver. Since let's just put it right now as if it's the liver, who knows? Sends a signal to the body to create something called HCG, which HCG gives a signal, or HCG gives the signal to the brain. I'm sorry. HCG is created whenever a woman doesn't have enough nutrition and she's carrying a baby. HCG is produced by the body, by the human body, but it should be created because of the brain, right? The brain should give the signal. It's been a long time since I read on this, so I'm sorry, but it works something like that, right? The body makes it, and HCG gives a certain part of the body a signal to go ahead and release all the fat of the woman so the baby can get fed. So the woman will start, loosen the fat that are in parts that when people exercise or lose weight from, from them being, a certain size or so forth, you will always see that there are certain things that they just won't lose weight on, or it's very difficult. And that really is like underneath your arms, sometimes like right here on your chin, certain parts of the body. They're very hard to lose, but the body, when HCG is presented in the blood, in the body, the brain automatically knows to go ahead and, like, it's emergency, we need to go ahead and release the fat, right? So the baby can get fed. So the HCG is being kept released. The brain is receiving signal to release all the fat, so it starts to release it, and it starts to release it specifically in those areas that the body has chosen that are very that are areas that are very hard to lose, because in case of a famine, and this is just a survival mechanism, in case of a famine or somewhere where you don't have to eat, once the fat from your other areas is gone, now it's like getting rid of the fat underneath here and so forth to survive, for survival, right? So what that's basically what the diet was. Basically, HCG can be created and so forth, and at that point, it can be in taken. I think they did it through injections. Some had drops. I think some had pills, something like that. And then at that point, the fat was released from their body, because they found out that it works for men just like it worked for women. So once HCG is in your body, the brain will go ahead and start to release all this fat. And usually, you could read this. This is by Dr. Simeons. This is a diet that was discovered and created by him, but and it was created by him, and this is an old diet. We're talking about, I think it was the 50s, 40s, 30s, something like it's very old. And it's been a diet that has been done by the elite. The elite knew about this for years. The elite, and it was their choice to go ahead and see if they wanted it, right? But that allows you to go ahead and lose about a pound a day from what it's claimed. Now, even in that specific diet, people have tried it in all different ways. People have taken the HCG And basically the actual diet works is that I think you can only eat 500 calories a day, no more than that, because if you eat more than that, then the body won't release the fat. So it's 500 calories. So they've tried it in all different ways. Once the public knew about it, the public started, tried it in different ways. People tried it in, getting the 500 calories vegan style. They tried it getting the 500 calories in peel form. They tried to go ahead and get the 500 calories, you know, and being getting 500 calories being a vegetarian. A whole bunch of things. And the best one that worked was the original one, the one where animal protein was consumed as part of your 500 calorie a day diet. Look this up. I'm not playing. I'm just giving you the truth. This is what Ulosophy is. And if you become a member, then trust me, you will be mind blown at that point. But yes, and even in that diet, it shows that the original diet works best. They tried it in all ways. They tried it in vegan and vegetarian and humanitarian, whatever, all the types of ways that people say that that people say, that people have and discovered and so forth, healthy ways. Some tried it with just protein and so forth. It never worked. It always works best. It came to be that the original diet works best, which is, some carbohydrates, and I think some animal protein, and I don't remember the other one, but it was basically that, right? But animal protein is involved because the animal protein, for some reason, either breaks that molecule down more or releases a little bit more fat. I don't know. But they found out that the best way to go ahead and do that diet is by keeping the animal protein as part of the diet. So, as I was saying, we have ate animal protein for the longest time. I believe that's something that you should eat. I have a different view. See, I was given information at a very young age, not by my not by parents. Let's just say I was born to be given this information. I was born to be introduced to this information. I was born. It's my genetics, my DNA. I was born to go ahead and get this information. So it was given to me, right? Whether I discovered it or so forth, that's not something we will talk about here. How I got all this information and so forth is something that, when you become a member, you get kind of a more clear idea, so forth. But I was given much of this information when I was young. I just never, I attempted to learn anyway. Yeah, so nutrition, I believe, in my belief, and this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. Seek your doctor first for anything, and don't do anything that I do, and you shouldn't expect a thing out of this video. Anything that I do, you shouldn't expect anything from the work of others, okay? So I'm not doing this so you can go ahead and expect something out of it. You shouldn't expect nothing out of this video, any of my other videos, any future videos. You should never expect anything from the work of others. Got that clear? And seek your doctor first. I'm not a doctor. So especially here, definitely, you know, you should not expect anything from the work of others. So anything that I say, you shouldn't expect for it to even be the truth. But maybe it is, right? Okay. Now that we got that out the way, I believe that nutrition, being healthy, and get into a state of longevity it can be done in several ways, but the ways never change, and these ways have been proven to be the best. And these ways have been done throughout history with certain people that were previewed to this information, right? It's like, that's why when I talk about certain things, it's like either people say that they believe me, or people say that they don't believe me, or people say that that's not what the medical doctor told them. That's fine. But there's plenty of research out there that has been done and has been pushed to be done by certain people or privy to this information before it even was released. So everything that I tell you is 99.9% of it is, there's research, there's evidence, there's proof. I'm not just speaking out my ass. Okay? I'm sorry for the bad language. It's just that I get very upset. I feel very, very upset whenever someone, says that you're a liar. When you're not a liar and you get told you're a liar, or when you get accused of something that you didn't do, that is one of the things that really angers me. It really angers me. So, you should, the Ulosophy System, makes you be a person of peace, of love, of everything and above. But also, you should always go ahead and make sure that nobody takes your dignity away. Remember in the garden, if you read the Bible, remember when Jesus was in the garden, when they went ahead and got him and to get him crucified and so forth? Remember when they were about to go ahead and get Jesus? What did Peter do? Peter got a sword out and cut one of the ears of one of the Romans that were coming to go ahead and get him. And then this was when Jesus grabbed it and put it back on and portrayed a miracle in front of everybody, right? So what does that tell you? Even Jesus and his crew, always kept themselves protected, just in case. So being, the right up to bear arms, that's just a God-given right. Even the Bible says it. I don't think there's been one person in the Bible that stands out, that God blessed, that wasn't protected. Didn't have a sword or something, right? They all had protection no matter what. So you have to go ahead and always be prepared to go ahead and understand the world, but also be prepared to not just go ahead and give yourself so people can run all over you. You're a person of love, a person of light. We believe in Jesus. We have many concepts that will make us go ahead and think a certain way, a different way, a better way. And it's all about positivity and enjoying life. But you should never, even if someone calls you a liar, especially if you're a grown man, you should never allow another man to call you a liar. And if it's something that you didn't do, that you didn't do and is true, then you should stand up for yourself. Always stand up for yourself. That's another thing we also teach in philosophy. No matter who you are, if you're accused of something, if people have hate towards you, always stand up for yourself no matter the consequences, because the moment that you allow someone to go ahead and, especially if you're a man, to go ahead and run all over you and so forth, is the moment you lost dignity. There's certain things that you have to go ahead and, take and pick up your cross on, right? Certain things. But there's a limit to that. Once someone steps over that line, crosses that line, no. You don't cross that line. Okay? So, though, back to what I was talking about, nutrition. Nutrition is being given the basics of life. And that starts with minerals. Like eating carbohydrates is not a bad thing. Eating animal protein is not a bad thing, in my opinion, and so forth. Like, I could go anywhere and I eat what I want. I'm a certain weight. I look at myself. I'm truly happy with myself. I'm happy in my own skin. But maybe I want to go ahead and look better, right? Either for me or maybe for my special someone, right? Or maybe I like a certain someone and I really want to go ahead and look good for someone, of course. Then I'll go ahead and use the secrets that are out there, that are preview to you, and I'll go ahead and lose the weight that I need and so forth. But for the majority of time, I eat what I want. I don't have I eat regular American diet with white sugar and white flour, in other words. But I'm well mineralized. I'm well mineralized. That means that I get the minerals that I need every single day, because I know that the food that is being sold to me is not enough. And I know that some of the things that are sold to me, there's toxins in. There's toxins in the air. There's toxins in the car. There's toxins everywhere. So we have to learn to go ahead and protect ourselves that way. And that's through nutrition, right? Why? The white sugar and white flour is the perfect example. The mineral chromium, I believe, is the number one essential thing to life itself. If you're not supplementing yourself with chromium, any sort of longevity that you wish to have or ever have is not going to happen. The element to life is chromium. And it's been already researched and everything. So what is one thing out there that has the most chromium? One of them is sugarcane. Sugarcane has the most amount of chromium in it. But what happens? People get the sugarcane, they go ahead and process it. It comes out. It should come out like brown, but they process it. But because they take out all the minerals so they can sell it to industry, they take out about 95% of it. They take out all the minerals, 95% of them, and then suddenly it turns into white sugar. It turns into white flour. So you're getting the main thing that you want, but you're not getting it with the minerals that it should have. And the reason the minerals were there in the first place, placed by God, were for your health. Because, as I mentioned before, whenever you intake food, it turns into glucose or sugar. The brain signals the pancreas to go ahead and make insulin. Insulin is like the truck loads or 18-wheelers that, take things to wherever they need to be. They pick up the sugar, their truckload is the glucose. They go ahead and pick it up, and their job is to go ahead and take it to its destination, which is the cell, because the cell needs the glucose for energy. It's called ATP. Look it up. So the insulin goes to the cell and says, all right here, unload, I'm ready. For it to be unloaded, it needs, quote, dock workers or workers to go ahead and take the stuff out and put it in. So they arrive at the cargo lounge, which in this case will be the receptor of the cell. And the insulin is waiting on the dock workers to go ahead and take the sugar out from the insulin. Well, if there's no dock workers, there's no sugar coming in. There's no energy. There's no ATP. And then suddenly you have a traffic load of trucks that need to be unloaded. But because there's nobody to go ahead and unload the stuff for the cell. So the body sees that there's still sugar in the blood. So what does it do? It sends another signal to the pancreas and say, create more insulin, because it looks like there's more sugar than we thought. Then the pancreas creates more insulin, and picks up the sugar. And the first signal has done it. But because there's no dock workers to take it in, then that's where you go ahead and say high blood sugar, or in other words, diabetes. Type 2 at least, or type 1 as well. So, what is the missing element? The dock workers. What are the dock workers? The dock workers are chromium. Chromium is needed. So they act as the dock workers and unload the trucks, or the insulin, gets the sugar from the insulin and puts it inside the cell through the receptor. If chromium is not present, then there's no sugar going inside the cell. That's why people with high blood sugar often get really tired and are like walking zombies. So the body has to go ahead and get the sugar out somehow. So it goes ahead and makes you urinate more. That dehydrates you. So not only are you like already without energy, because there was no chromium there to go ahead and unload the insulin and put the sugar in. So you're already tired. But apart from that, you're trying to sleep, but you can't, because you're constantly getting up to go ahead and urinate, because that's the only way that the body sees that it can go ahead and take away this extra sugar, through the urination. So what happens? You go to the medical industry, and the medical industry tells you, and they give you medicine. They give you pills to start. And if it gets worse or if it's not working, they go ahead and maybe give you another pill and maybe another pill. And if it's still not working, then they go ahead and give you insulin. The pancreas was already creating enough insulin. So then they research and get your blood work and everything and say, well, it looks like you're insulin sensitive. Or what's the other word? Insulin sensitive. Which means that the insulin doesn't want to do its job. It's sensitive. And there's another one as well. But the way that life occurs, energy, you need chromium. And not just chromium, not any chromium, not the chromium picolinate, which has been shown in research to have an actual waste product, a waste molecule, a waste in it. So it doesn't work. It should be GTF Chromium. GTF Chromium. And the GTF Chromium not only has to be a GTF, but it has to be whole food. Whole food, not rocks. You go to your pharmacies, you go to your Walmarts, with all due respect to all those places, you go to your pharmacies and so forth, and you see, oh, GTF Chromium, the one Ruben was talking about. All right, let me give myself 2 bottles. Sometimes when the body is really, really like, there's literally no detection of chromium in your tissues, like literally you don't have any, the body sometimes is able to use that chromium, but then it will stop. Why? Because the chromium, the GTF chromium that they sell in all these places is made from rocks. They get the mineral from rocks. And it's true. The rock actually does have that mineral. So they extract that mineral and they put it into a pill form. And then they sell it to you. We were not designed to eat rocks. Plants eat rocks. Carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, whatever. They eat rocks. The soil. They eat rocks. And then we eat the plants, the vegetables. The cow eats grass. The grass eats rocks, the soil. They get their minerals from the rocks. So the cow eats the grass, which has the minerals, and then we eat the cow. So it's like double hand, transactions here. So you have to get a whole food chromium, GTF chromium. It has to be 100% whole food. Now, if you look at my last video, I put the link there to the chromium that I recommend. I do not get a cent from this, whether you click on the link or no, or whether you look it up or no. I do not get a dime. For many, I think I posted like several, because we were talking about different subjects during that video. So I do not get a dime. I want you to know that. I do not charge for any of my videos. There's a lot of great information, and I do not charge. I do not have a paid group. Which, if you look at my past videos or my past Instagram, because I was listening to certain people on how to run these things, they advised me to go ahead and sell some things, right? Sell consultations and so forth like that. Well, of course, if you want to speak to me, there has to be, I can't just my time is very valuable. I can't get it back. There has to be some sort of transaction. But most of the information, I just put it here. So because I listen to certain people, that's why you may see some things on Instagram, on YouTube, or so forth in the past, where, I would go ahead and say, if you want consultation or so forth, and I can go ahead and, talk to you about spirituality, or do a spirituality, see what, clarification of what you have and so forth. I listened to the wrong people and just made a mistake. Well, people make mistakes. Anyway, I don't have a paid group. I don't have a group that I charge you. I have a course that I'm thinking about selling, just because that course has that course are videos that I attempted to upload to the YouTube or TikTok or whatever. But those videos actually have sensitive information that I only share with Ulosophy members. That is sacred. So if Ulosophy gets together and we decide to go ahead and be like, okay, which I tried to go ahead and not share any specific sacred information that we have inside our club, inside our memberships, for members only. Something came out. So that is what those videos that would have been free, those are the ones that I'm fixing and sort of making it into a course. And that's what me trying to not let anything out. And it's not much that was let out, but there are some things that are let out that I just cannot upload. That's like, again, we call it sacred information. And it is sacred. It is sacred. Yeah. Even the Bible says it. The information is out there hidden, and it's up to you kings, the God calls us kings, to seek it out. And the Bible says it. Not anybody should be previewed to this information. Christianity is not for everybody. Even in the story of Samson, remember, God's secrets should never be shared. Samson, his power, where he got his strength, was through his hair. He let his hair grow. And he was told, you do not, this is a blessing from God. You do not give this secret out to anybody. Was told. So he goes through life and he doesn't share the secret. He just shows that he has power. But then a woman comes, and the woman, which was sent by the enemy, actually, it's not real love, but the woman constantly tells him or asks him, what is your secret to your power? And he ends up lying to her, several times, until one time, I think the Bible says she was really crying or something like that, and it touched his heart or something, and he ended up telling her. And she told the enemy. Samson went to sleep. He woke up bald. Suddenly no strength. Even the Bible says it. Certain things should not be shared. The Bible says it, that Christianity is not for everybody, because it clearly says that there are some people that are going to be thrown in the lake of fire with the Antichrist and Satan and the devil. There's actually going to be people that are actually going to hell. The Bible says it. The Bible doesn't say everybody's going to be saved. No, it says clearly that some people are going to hell. There's some people who won't be saved. Clearly says it. So what does that mean? That means that Christianity is not for everybody, and it shouldn't be for everybody, because the scripture tells us. The scripture tell us that it's not for everybody. You know, almost like a secret society, right? So, you know, this information just is you know, the membership for Ulosophy is just not for anybody, and it's information that is sacred. So what I was mentioning, there's some things that slipped up in those videos, and is being debated whether we can go ahead and release those videos or not. If we can't, but we might be able to make them sort of public to and make it into a course, just so it could go ahead and maybe pay for some promotion or something for more people to learn about Ulosophy. Maybe we'll think about it, because nothing is charged. We don't charge for anything. Specifically me, I don't charge for anything. Membership is a different thing, right? But not anybody will get in, and not anybody will pass the test. That's all I can tell you. But if you're interested in membership, if you studied Ulosophy and you've gone over the videos and you find that you like it and you wish to become a member, you know, and get secret information, email us at ulosophy1@gmail.com. Ulosophy and then the number 1@gmail.com. And from there, we'll go ahead and let you know about membership and the certain steps. You know, there's the first step, and you know, we'll see who you are and everything, and second step and so forth. It's much easier if you're recommended by someone. A member recommends you, says, hey, look, I brought him. He's a real great individual, or a woman. This is a great individual, because it's men and women, right? It's much easier. But when you're, you know, you like the information and you're like willing, you really want to go ahead and become a member, because you have to be willing. And when you become a member, it's like you become a member. This is gonna be, you know, part of your family. Then, you know, there's ways to go ahead and do that, which not everybody will do. But if you're willing to go ahead and become a member, you really believe in this information, then you'll probably be a good candidate. But just email us at ulosophy1@gmail.com, ulosophy1@gmail.com. Right now, we don't have a lot of people that know about this. So this is even before the ground floor, right? So the easiest time for you to become a member, the easiest time for you to get specific attention from me and other higher members is right now. And let me tell you another thing that will make it easy. If you sacrifice to ulosophy1@gmail.com on PayPal, you sacrifice any amount, you're sacrificing to make a statement that you believe in freedom of religion and freedom of belief. And if you sacrifice money to that, which means that you're sacrificing your money, you don't expect anything from that, you will go ahead and each dollar that you do sacrifice is gonna be like a ticket. That ticket is worthless, doesn't worth a thing. Nothing. Bitcoin at one time was not worth a thing. Ethereum, cryptocurrency, at one time wasn't worth a thing. Certain currencies at one time wasn't worth a thing. While they were making this hat that I have on, it wasn't worth a thing. when they finished it, it wasn't worth a thing until they decided to sell it. And really, it wasn't worth a thing until the transaction was confirmed, to be honest. So, yeah, if you sacrifice, I would go ahead and be in awe. And if you do sacrifice over $33, it has to be $33 or more, then I would be in such an awe that I will go ahead and give you these, I will show you these videos that I'm talking about. You will be given these videos with some sacred information that was slipped up in those videos. Okay? But as far as the public that just getting the free videos, this no, it's not previewed to you. You have to either become a member, or if you want to get some of that information, then you have to go ahead and get the course, which would be given to you free if you sacrifice more than $33 to Ulosophy1@gmail.com via PayPal. You just go to PayPal, type in Ulosophy1@gmail.com, and that's the one that you want to send the money to. Put in, I think it gives you an option where you put a note or something. Just put sacrifice. That's it, and we'll get it. Your information will be processed, and we'll go ahead and get back to you. I let you know how many tickets you actually have, just so you can have confirmation. And if you do go ahead and sacrifice, right, and you do have tickets, which are worthless right now, but maybe at one time will, maybe we can go ahead and, I would be much more in awe. You'll have, I tell you straight up, you will have a better chance of joining Ulosophy as a member if you do, because I will see that you really want to. So I'll try to go ahead and make it as easier as I can for you to become a member. Okay? But anyway, and becoming a member, again, you do not expect anything. You do not expect anything from the work of others, and anything that we're telling you and so forth. Even when you become a member, you don't expect nothing. So, talk about nutrition again. So, nutrition, is not. You're not whenever you have, for example, a sugar problem. It doesn't mean that you have a deficiency in metformin. It doesn't mean you have a deficiency in glimepiride. And your pancreas could well be working good, making enough insulin. It's just that you don't have enough chromium, because a test, a research was done. This was done, I think, in the 50s as well. It was done maybe before. Basically, it was done whenever chromium was discovered as an essential mineral. An essential mineral, look up the word essential, that means that you need it. If not, you would die. An essential mineral, they went ahead and, tested subjects. And their subjects were American. And we're talking about in this time, 1950s. And only 25% of people, 25% of all the subjects that they checked had a little bit, what were the only ones that had a little bit of chromium detected in their tissues. The other ones had no chromium that they could find in their tissues. That's in 1950. So just imagine now. How low our chromium levels are. Chromium is the number one most essential mineral in the world. It should, there's so many things. When a baby is born, the fetus. When a baby, when a woman becomes pregnant with the fetus, there's something that covers it sort of for protection, and it's called what's it called? It's the placenta. The placenta basically is a cover for protection of the baby, and that placenta basically has connections, genetic connections, and bodily connections to the fetus, and that's how the baby gets its genetic forms and so forth, and things like that. Chromium protects the placenta from getting toxic or wrong genetic mutations. In other words, it stops the wrong genetic mutations that they occur all the time, right? We have certain genetic mutations that sometimes occur, but they're so small that they don't matter, and we know with enough minerals you can go ahead and fix it. It's basically almost like a concussion, right? You got a concussion, that's like some genetic mutation that's going on there. It takes some time to heal and you'll be better, right? The same thing here. Chromium has to be present for not only the stoppage of toxics going into the actual being in the placenta, but mainly because the placenta already, that's the main reason it's there, is to not allow any toxins to go in, but mainly genetic mutational cells. Then yes, at that point it could well be that it falls through and the baby comes out with Down syndrome. Chromium has been shown clinically, medically, that if it's present, it will not allow that genetic mutation to enter. And then if you take chromium as a pregnant woman, you will see that your pregnancy will actually be a delight. You won't be tired. You won't be feeling foggy. You won't be feeling all these things because you'll have plenty of energy. Your cells will be working great if you take a whole food GTF Chromium supplement. So friends of mine that have wives and then they get pregnant, I always tell them to take chromium. They take chromium and they say, I've never had a more pleasant, I've never had a more pleasant pregnancy. Even when it's labor time, they have so much energy. Everything's working good in their body because they've taken chromium for the entire pregnancy, that by the time they have to go into labor, they're able to withstand the pains that they could have a natural birth. That's how beautiful chromium is. Chromium, GTF Chromium, has to be in a whole food form. And it works for so many other things, And I hope that you look into chromium because it's essential. It's the number one most essential mineral or nutrient that is vital for living. If people say wealth is health, that being healthy costs more, is more valuable than actual wealth, then chromium, GTF Chromium, is more expensive than gold. If that's true, if what you're telling me is true, that that your health, being healthy, costs more than any amount of money, then chromium is more valuable than gold. I mean, unfortunately, look at Steve Jobs, and I hate to go ahead and bring his name up, right? Because it's a person that has passed away. He's already dead. But it's just an example to show you guys that even these people who have so much money just don't pay attention. I'm pretty sure it was given this information, but just they don't pay attention. It's too late. Once they go and try to take care of the issue that's been bothering them because they're too busy working or so forth, then it's too late. Can't help you no more. And maybe he could be helped with some great nutrition and so forth, but as far as, him, like, he had billions of dollars. Those billions of dollars couldn't help him survive. Wow. All right, guys, I love you all. This is an hour long. Chromium, GTF Chromium. Get your Chromium. Go to the last video. I put it on there. I might put it on here because chromium is so essential. It is the number one most essential nutrient and element in health, period. Because it's the number one most deficient element or nutrient in most Americans. I guarantee you. Usually people started to feel sort of tired and stopped, chasing dreams and so forth in their 70s, 60s. By the time you're 30, you're already tired. By the time you're 28, you already have problems with tiredness. How is that? And also, I'm going to make a video regarding this. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Oh. This is called the missing link, and this is a supplement that was made by the late great Nada Doc. Nada Doc gave us so much good information before he passed away. And it's a while back, it's during COVID. So just to give you an idea, but he gave us so much information. But this, look at all the minerals it has. Let's see. Could you focus? Could you see? You should be able to see. What's wrong with the camera? Why doesn't it focus? Focus here. I don't know why he's not focusing. Hold on. Is it focusing now? Oh. It's not focusing, but trust me, there's a lot. I'm just gonna read to you what this bottle says. It says the missing link contains the natural mineral clay recommended by the late Dr. John Myers, creator of the legendary Myers cocktails. Look up Dr. John Myers and the legendary Myers cocktails, which this non-volcanic mineral clay is sourced from an ancient inland seabed in the western United States that is believed to contain the remnants of ancient plant life that fed off of mineral-rich thermal springs. The missing link is foundational in all of Nada Doc's protocols and was recommended by Nada Doc for overall health. And it says, as a dietary supplement, take 2 capsules daily, or as recommended by your health care. Let me tell you, I've been taking this for years, and for a moment it stopped because they just couldn't. I think it was probably around his death as well, that they couldn't get this. But fortunately, friends of his did go ahead and remain, trying to push this forward, and they got to go ahead and sell it. But this minerals, basically, out of everything that you're supposed to be taking, which I'm gonna make a video on one day, but it's part of the sacred information as well. Certain things I won't say, but certain things I will. I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on certain things that you need for certain nutrients that you need for certain things, and trust me, you will see a difference. I'm not a doctor either, but let me tell you about this bottle, this minerals here. Overall health, you should be taking GTF Chromium at least 100 micrograms 3 or 4 times a day. If you really have problems, then that's something, we need to go ahead and, give you more information on. You should be taking selenium. Selenium is the second most efficient mineral in most Americans today, and actually most people of the world now. So selenium, these are the 4 that you need. Okay, I mean the 3 that you need. I said 4. So you need chromium. That's vital. That's the first thing you get. If you don't have much money, if there's one thing that you'll get, and you will go ahead and not only see a difference, but your overall health, you're helping yourself live longer, because not only does it work for sugar metabolism, it's from so many things. Remember, the brain requires more sugar per capita than any other thing else in your body. Watch how your brain works with just chromium. You won't stop talking. People think you will be on something, and you'll feel like, what the heck is going on? I'm getting scared now, but it's not, because you haven't never felt this since you were a kid. Because when you're a kid, that's when you had the most chromium, and you get the chromium from your mother. That's why she was so tired when she had you. Anyway, you get, chromium, and then selenium, and silica, which is another thing I'm going to talk about. Those 3 main things, and there's more, but I'm going to just give you these 3 for now. GTF Chromium, selenium, and silica. Take these daily. Selenium, let me go ahead and just give you an example. Selenium, just some selenium. Nada Doc had a person that he used to talk to, and that person actually had lung cancer. And basically, Nada Doc gave this person certain instructions on how to go ahead and get that cleared through nutrition, which he has seen hundreds of times. And this is a process that lasts about 6 months to a year. You have to be continually doing it every day. Basically, you're getting everything you need just supplementally every day. Don't think just because you're going to start taking minerals, your life is going to change and all your problems are going to go away. No, it takes time. You have to be healthy, eating healthy. In this words, getting nutrition every single day, especially if you eat things like fast food a lot, or just white sugar and white flour a lot, like the diet that we have. Take these minerals. There's diabetics. There's a story about a diabetic lady where I will share with you later, some other time. Basically, she eats. She's from the South, and she eats everything Southerners eat: pies, all the sugar, all the flour, you know, all the things that Southern people like to eat, right? In the South, we love to eat, so all kinds of food. So she said, "I won't stop my mac and cheese. I'm not going to stop eating, my chicken. I won't stop eating, beef. I won't stop eating fish. I won't stop eating, whatever, fried foods. I won't stop it." All she does is take the minerals, and her blood sugar went from, because they check it in a form called AC1. So basically, AC1, they found a way to go ahead and check your blood sugars. What's your average blood sugar for the past 3 to 6 months? And then that's how they get the result on, like, what is it that we need to change, right? Or like, you're telling me you're eating healthy, but your AC1 doesn't say it. So her AC1 was 11, I think 13. And then she took her medicine, but she started adding the minerals, and she kept eating whatever she wanted. Surprisingly, her cholesterol came down, her her AC1 came down. So it started, from 11 to a 9 to an 8 to a 7 to, once it got to a 6, that's when you don't actually need a specialist of whatever the issue of an endocrinologist, which is the one that will take care of your diabetes if you have a diabetes specialist. Once you get to a 6 below, then that's when you don't need one anymore. So even the doctor said, like, you shouldn't be taking those anymore, right? But then she stopped taking them, and then her sugar went up, and then the specialist even had to say, "Hey, take whatever those bottles that you got from that crazy man. Go ahead and start taking them again, because it's getting out of control." But anyway, I was talking about this bottle again, and really, what it is. So, like, GTF Chromium is great for the heart. That is the one thing you need for the heart. So many research out there, heart attacks, all that, heart disease, Jesus. Remember, heart disease and cancer, there's a 50-50 chance that you might die out of those two. That's just the truth. That's the research out there. That's what the people that do all this medical stuff are telling us. So, cancer, so forth, you need chromium. Chromium helps the heart, helps the sugar levels, helps, your organs. There's so many things, right? And gets your life back on track. But then you need selenium. I was going to tell you the story about the guy. The other doc had a guy that had lung cancer. And, there's certain things that he told him to do. And, he should get better, which he saw hundreds of other times. Well, he refused. But the only thing he would go ahead and take that he agreed on was selenium, whole food selenium. And he took about 1,000 micrograms a day. He was given 6 months to live, when not a doc told him to go ahead and take this, or at least take selenium. It's been years now, and he doesn't stop smoking.